Hello, Carles. Welcome to Injury Time. Thanks for doing this. I know it was a little bit of in the middle of all of this, suddenly we managed to put this together. So thanks for doing this.
It's my pleasure. I'm really happy to talk with you again and to talk about Indian football and football in general. That I really love it.
What's happening with you now? Are you at home? How was the season like? What's up with you now?
Yeah, my last experience was in Cyprus. I was working in Cyprus First Division, and it was a really good experience for me because it was a new tournament to know, and I could enjoy the best season of the club in the history of Aris Limassol. So it has been great, a very good experience. You always know new markets, you know new players, and I really enjoy it.
So now coming back to Indian football, have you been keeping tabs of what is happening in India?
Yes, of course. After 5 years in the country, I really enjoy. I love what's happening in India at that moment. The progression of the football in India. I think that we all are testimony of something really really nice happening in India. I remember that I arrived there in 2016, so my first season was not in Indian Super League, but I can see the effort that Indian Super League is doing for the best of the football in India, and I really love to see the progression of the players. Local players are really growing up a lot in the country. So yes, I'm watching a lot of games. I am watching what's going on. So I have a lot of information of India football, of course.
So now a year removed from where you left the country, it's been over a season now. How do you look back at the time in Bangalore? How do you look at the experience you had? Because like you said, you started in the I League, you moved to the ISL, had one final, then won the final. You had the AFC Cup run in between to the final, historic that is. So how do you look at the whole thing, that 5 year spell?
Yeah, a lot of things happen in 5 years. I think that we in Bengaluru we were doing a work that let the club really grow up a lot. If you remember, it was a new club in the time of Ashley Wisbot. He was the one starting the work and putting the basis to become a professional team, and they got it. They got trophies. 2 I Leagues and 1 Cup, so it means that the work was paying off. And after that, we arrived with Albert Roca, and we keep doing that kind of job, and also trying to make an impact in Indian Super League. I think that we really make a good project because we arrived 2 times to the final of the Indian Super League. We were winner once, and also the competition, it's about to be regular, and Bengaluru was getting 2 years in a row the first position in the regular league. Unfortunately, at that moment there was not the Chill trophy for that winner team, and either the option to play in Champions League. But I think that it's very good for football in India that we can see year after year that things are happening, and it was very important that in the last 2 editions of the Champions League, one club directly play the group stage. So it means that behind of that there is a good communication between Indian Federation and FC, and they are making a roadmap to make the football bigger in India. About my time in India. After a few seasons, it was very clear that Bengaluru have another idea about the future of the team, and you can see that there was some big budgets working in one direction, like Mumbai City, like ATK, even like Goa, in one direction, trying to reach Champions League and to fight for that kind of first position slots in the table. And Bengaluru was more focused in develop youngers and trying to be the team in India with the most local players doing well. And I agree with that kind of plan, and I think that Bengaluru can be proud of to have, if you see the national team, is the team with more players in the first 11. Normally in this last tournament, there have been like 4 or 5 Bengaluru players in the first 11. So it means that they are doing a good job in that kind of promote the young players, and I'm happy that I was part of that project, also promoting players like Suresh, like Rashan, who made the debut with me, like Ashik. So I mean, it's just a plan. It's a great plan, but of course, when you are with that kind of plan, and you don't reinforce enough the foreigner players, then you maybe can have problems to reach the top positions in the league. And I think it's what is happening with Bengaluru in the last 2 seasons, that it was not good enough, the team, to fight against the really top teams like ATK Mohun Bagan, Mumbai City. But it's okay. It's the decisions that the club has to take, and I always will feel very, very happy and very honored about the opportunity that I have to work with Bengaluru, and we create really like a historical team. The team who was winning the Indian Super League in 2019. I think that everybody can remember the players of that team. I think that we offer a really nice show, and I think that the club is in the process to build up another project. So of course, all my best wishes for Bengaluru always.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The direction that the team has gone, and the direction it used to be before. But I just wanted to ask you this: like towards the end of your time, I was very surprised when you decided to part ways at Bengaluru. That was very surprising for me because I thought you would see out the season at least that much you will have to do, because you were playing, like you said, with a reduced sort of investment and stuff. So if you want to, would you like to talk about what happened at that time? Why was the decision made for you to change as a coach?
Well, there are normal things happening in football. No? I think that also these 2 seasons have been very special in Indian football because of the COVID situation. You have to play in that bubble, and it means a lot for everybody there. I think that it's a huge sacrifice from the player, from the staff, from all the people around, and to be living for so much time inside a bubble. It's really, really difficult. So I really have to congratulate all of them to really been working in such tough conditions. About our time in Bengaluru, you know that we were a team always fighting for the first position in league. It was our kind of mentality. It was the power of our players. We have really players who knows how to manage the game, and we're always very competitive. If you remember my last season, we're playing 9 games until we decide to finish. And in these 9 games, we were in the playoff positions during 8 games. We only missed the playoff position in the 9 game in the league. What was happening is that it was 3 losses in a row, and any coach in the world, when there is 3 losses in a row, is demanding for explanations from the board. No, it's a normal situation. I was very clear with the management in Bengaluru about that. I feel that with the team we really can get the playoff, but also I was very clear that I have the feeling that we're missing something that make us really compete for different things with ATK, Mohun Bagan and Mumbai. It was clear that in these 3 games that we were losing in a row, one was against the team Mohun Bagan. It was only 1-0, but you can feel the difference in the performance. And the other game was against Mumbai City, and it was that game 3-1. So yeah, I mean, my project for them, it was to be competitive, to arrive to the playoff and try to fight for the title, because I think that we can win any team in the competition. And I express it very clear, and the club decides that at the moment it was better to start to use youngers and to try to build up a team for the future. So it's a logical situation. I was fighting for the title. The club decides to start a new project, and it was the moment to finish the situation. So as you see, any project takes some time, and you see that after 1 year and a half, Bengaluru is still trying to build up this project, because it's not easy to bring new players, to bring a new coach. It's always a question of time. And if you see, I think that this season has been very, very clear that projects like Jamshedpur or Hyderabad, because they have been trusting in the coach for 2 seasons, and they have been building up with the same kind of players, and from one season to the other season they have invested in even in better players to try to go for the championship, and they have been successful. So I think that it's what any club needs to keep for a to bet for a project, and to really be strong in that kind of project, and give time to get it really happening.
You know, I don't know if you saw this. You said you were checking out a few of the old podcasts. There was a podcast with Eric Partulu, and in that he was very affluent in his praise towards you. He spoke about the league that you won, and then what impressed me the most, or what struck me the most, is he said you worked miracles to get to the semi-finals the year after. You worked miracles to get the team to the semi-final, because that team maybe should not have been there. Because you remember that semi-final that you went to against ATK Mohun Bagan with the 1-0 at home, and then so he was saying, so Eric is someone who's now, who's been there for a long time. He's currently speaking on TV and analyst in India and stuff. Very well respected, and very open in his opinions. How do you look at that season, when especially one of your key players talk about the performance from that team, and the coaching that you had, and with Jerry Zaragoza as well, how much he and you sort of bounced off each other as well the year before?
Yeah, as you see, we always have been very competitive. I mean, we never have that kind of results that you can see sometimes in Indian Super League, like 4-4 or 5-4 or that kind of results. We were more like a European team, you mean, with a very, very good structure, with all the players knowing what they have to do, and don't allow to make, silly decisions, just to play that kind of combination game, to go together to attack, and to go together to defend. So you saw the first season that I was a head coach, the one that we win the regular league and the playoff, it was quite comfortable for us to win the games. We have good with finishing players, and we have attack with Sunil, with Miku, with Chisku, delivering a lot of goals and assists. So it was one kind of football that we managed very well to do. The problem was the next season, when we miss some of these players because of club decision. And when you see the table at that, in that season 6, you see that we score only 22 goals. And this number of goals was the number of goals that were scoring the 3 teams in the bottom. I mean, the teams that were not fighting for the trophy. So I'm agree with Eric that it was a kind of miracle, but it was a miracle based in our work in defense. I mean, we really have a very good structure with the defenders that were playing with me also the year before, and with Gurpreet. And remember, it was a season with 11 clean sheets record. And the funny thing, the really amazing thing that happens a lot in football, is that season we were the team who create more chances. If you go to Instat and you see the data, the statistics, we were creating more chances than any other team in the league. And also, we were creating more chances than the year before when we won the title. What I mean is that in football, there is one thing that you have to be better than the opponent, that it's in the box, in the penalty box. You have to be better in defense in the penalty box, and you have to be better in attack in the penalty box. And we missed that. In that second season, we missed that. We tried with some new players, but it was not working good enough for us. Maybe the scouting of the players was not the the best one. We have some discussions with management about the salaries, about the options that we have, and finally, I think that when you see that in the perspective of time, maybe the players that come for that number 9 position were more like counter-attack players, not players for the ball position game, So at the end, we were protagonists because the way we play the football with Dimas, with Eric, also with Suresh the second season, we were more building up the game. But it's true that we were not good enough in finishing. So it means that at the end of the league, there was a lot of games that the result for us was 1-0 for us, or even 2-1. And with that kind of results, we create that miracle that Eric was talking about, that it was to arrive to the playoffs. And we were very close to the final. We were working very, very analyzing the opponent ATK, and we were really making a plan for that semi-final. And we were only 15 minutes away of the final, and we have, if you remember, these very clear chances to score when the game was 3-1 for ATK Mohumbagane. We have one very clear chance for Juana, one very clear chance for Kevin, the Jamaican player. So what I mean is that football is a question of little, narrow things make the difference, and we were not good enough to reach the final in that edition, but we were very close. With less weapons that we have the year before, we were very close to reach the final for third season in a row. So it means a lot for the players that we have. These kind of players were reaching 2 finals, and they were only 15 minutes away of the third final in their career.
I think it also affected that that AFC Cup game came in between. You had like semi-final AFC Cup and the other one. So you kept talking about 3 finals. That's how you were talking about. And I think that affected the team. That not getting that win there probably affected the team also. The momentum is a little stalled. Probably not the best mental space at that time. Because I remember Sunil walking out at the mix zone, and I asked, "Can I talk to you?" And he just had this absolutely devastated look. And he just said, "Not today." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So I think that also probably played its part. Would you say that?
Yeah, these things happen in football. It's as I told you, it's always a question of narrow details, a little difference. And it's true that it was a mental shock when we went out of FC Cup by penalties, because if you remember, we have 2 match ball. If we score 1 penalty, we were in. Then the other team, if they miss the penalty, we were in. And again, we have the last penalty with Deshaun Brown, and if he scores, we were in. So when you are so close and you miss that chance, of course you have a mental situation that you have to arrange. Even like this, we were talking about what we have to do in Calcutta semi-final, and the match plan was working well for us until the penalty that we did with Suresh. I think that if you remember, it was that kind of situation that is the striker playing the smart game, getting the touch of the opponent, and I think it just shows how is the top competition, because David Williams was smart enough to create that situation, and Suresh was a young player in a situation that I remember very clearly, that we were showing videos about that kind of things happen, because with Roy and David Williams, it was happening before in other games, that they were creating that kind of situation in the box. And
I think Suresh also had a foul on Marcelino just before that, when he switched flanks. I think 1 or 2 games before that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's your player, and you support him, and you think that he's going to give you more than another players that can play in the same position. So as a coach, it's your responsibility. We did the job, we showed the videos, we talk with them, but at the end, the players have to take decisions in 0.1 second, and unfortunately, it was a decision that it was not good for us because Williams has not even option to score from that position, but suddenly one thing changed the game. And when you play in front of 60,000 supporters and the situation is going like this, we have seen a lot in football history. We can see the Champions League this season with Real Madrid, that it was happening time after time after time. That special environmental situation creates something that supports the team. That
you should remember from the Johor games. You had that special something during those games.
What? I didn't answer.
During the Johor game, during the AFC Cup, you had that special something in the air.
That's it. It pays off for us a lot of times in Cantiriva. Cantiriva have been magical for us and have give us a lot of help in some special games. If you remember that season, that the second season that I was head coach, there was a lot of times that we were scoring after 80 minutes because it was the momentum in Cantiriva. Maybe we were 0-0 or 1-1 and all the supporters helping us, and suddenly we scored that second goal. It happens a lot of times. And of course, it pays for you when you are at home, but when you are in another stadium and there is also a big crowd, it can help the team that is playing as local. I am very proud of what we did in Cantiriva because we have the record of 2 seasons with no losing one game in our own stadium. So it means how powerful we get. The power of the team and the power of the stands give us a lot during that time.
Yes, I remember writing about that, how they have not lost at home for a very long time. But now as we sort of move towards the end of the show, I want to ask you, would you be interested in coming back to India?
As I told you, I love Indian football, and I feel a little bit protagonist of that in the way that I have been growing up. A lot of players, I know all the clubs, I know all the things that are happening there. So it's a market that definitely I pay attention to that. The thing is, until now I have been receiving some calls, and I have been doing some video calls with some technical directors, talking about the project, and finally nothing happened because of the 2 parts. From my side, it's about to go for a project that we really can make an impact, that we really can try to be competitive and try to fight for titles, because it's how I feel that it can happen with me, as far as I know so much the Indian football. So until now it was not happening, but you never know in the future. As I told you, I love the game. I love the passion in the tribunes in India, and maybe it's happening in the future. You never know.
Well, I hope you do come back. That would be interesting to see at least. So now I'm just going to say a few names of the players that you've coached. I want a quick reaction from you on them. So when I say Dimas Delgado, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, he was like a coach in the pitch. He was helping me a lot to build up the game, to manage the tempo of the game. He was a very smart player, and I think that he was an important part of that historical Bengaluru team.
Because I remember before the semi-final match you had, I was there for an interview and I saw the training, and I saw you and him sitting, and they were playing, and both of you talking about what to play, where to play, and all of those things. So it did feel, when you say a coach on the field, it felt like you guys had that connection, the two of you, between the two of you. Yeah.
You're right. I have been football player also, and of course, when you are in the pitch, you see a lot of things. And it's good to have that kind of conversations with players, because sometimes they give you some clues that from outside are not so easy to see. So of course, I talk a lot with my players, and at the end it's for the best of the team. You try to help the team with that kind of conversations.
What about Eric Bartolu?
Yeah, he also has been a very important player in that moment in Bengaluru. I think that he was giving us a lot of good situations as a defensive midfielder. He's powerful in that area of the pitch, and also in attack. He was one of our weapons in set pieces. As you know, we were really doing very well in set pieces, and for me it was a luxury to have different threats because we have Juanan, Alberto Serran, Raúl Peque, Eric, Miku, Sunil, so a lot of target men, and we can play a lot with that. I'm very happy that with all these players, they really accept when they have to be the target man and when they have to be the secondary role men, doing blocks or doing, phantom runnings to try to make a trap for the opponent, and we did that a lot with Eric. He understands all the situations, and he was really a historical player for Bengaluru.
What about Gurpreet?
Gurpreet was a wall in the goal. I'm very happy for him because it's not easy to come from Europe and to settle in India again. And from the first day, he was getting numbers. That it's important thing in football. If you have to be for a long career, you have to be producing, delivering numbers, and you can see that he is the goalkeeper with the record of clean sheets in the history of Indian Super League, and that he really an important piece of Bengaluru for all this time, and also for the national team.
So I'm going to ask you about both your centre backs together, because in my head, Serran and Juanan were always together. Yes, one does not play here anymore, but it's Juanan alone. But how do you look at them as a pairing? Because they were, for a long time, the best centre-back pairing in the country. And Serran doesn't get the respect that he deserves for the player that he is also.
If you see, Indian football is changing very fast. And I think that with this defense, we were the first ones to really play very compact about to make the team together, to push the midfield to go up when we are getting the ball back and attacking, and really not going down. There is a lot of teams in India at the starting of the Indian Super League that they prefer to arrive to the box, and the ball, it's going to take time to arrive to the defensive box. For us as a team, in that seasons, we were always very compact, not letting line pass between our midfielders and our defenders, and it was very important. I think it was part of the success to become champions, because if you see, Goa at that moment was a really wonderful team with that kind of players, with Coro, with Ubedia, with Manu Lanzarote also the first season. So it was really difficult to play against that top quality teams, and because we were very compact with Juanan and Serran, moving the team up and down, we were able to be competitive and to make that kind of numbers. So I think that I'm completely agree with you. Both of them were part of a historical defensive system for Bengaluru.
So I'm going to ask you about two people now. One, Cabra, he came as a centre midfielder. You guys turned him into a right back. Again, I think Cabra, you think about absolute competitive person. When he went to Kerala Blasters, you saw the kind of impact that he had in that team. He sort of lifted that team a lot. And Suresh, because you brought him into the team, quickly became a very big part of your team also. And he was growing. There were some mistakes that he made, like the tackle and all. But he was always growing and improving at that time also. So how do you look at these two players in your system? Or in your opinion, what do they provide?
I'm very happy that both of them now are with the national team. Ivan Cabra, at his age, he got the opportunity from Stimac to join the national team. It shows the kind of players that they are. When you are building up a team, you know in India that you have to use some number of Indian players as in the first 11, and it's very clear that Cabra have that kind of conditions to be part of the first 11, because his knowing of the game, his tactical decisions, his physicality, also his mental push to the rest of the teammates. So at that point, I have to find a place for him to play. If you remember the first season, he was not playing so much under Albert Roca. He had some injuries and he was not finding the right fitness situation to become in the first 11. But with me, the season that I started as a head coach, I decided that he can help the team from that position, because we have in the midfield more creative players with the triangle that it was Eric, Dimas, and Xisco. We have that kind of really offensive players with a lot of game possession characteristics. So we find for Cabra that plays as a right back, and he pays off. He was doing a wonderful season. If you see now, 3 seasons later, he's still playing as right back in Kerala. So I'm very happy for him because he really deserves a good contract, and is what he got going to Kerala, and he helps the team to be in a final again, and he was very close to reach his 3rd trophy. So he's a wonderful professional, and I'm really happy for him. And about Suresh, it was quite similar. That kind of player that he comes with very poor experience. I mean, coming from teams that were not playing in the Indian Super League. So he suddenly appeared with us, and we were making a plan with him, giving them opportunities in the B team. I was checking every game of the B team in Bangalore. I was seeing how he was developing. I was talking with him about things that he has to be to do with the B team to become useful for us in the first team. And suddenly it happens when he was in the right moment with the right experience behind of him. He appears in that midfield, and he was playing with Eric Partalu, Dimas, and Suresh was the other player in that midfield, and we really were very competitive again with one Indian player in that important positions. So I'm very happy for both of them, because you can see really the developing that they have been doing. Also happy for Roshan. If you let me talk about Roshan, I remember that when he appears with the first team, Sunil came to me and said me, "Wow, this guy is a kind of really fast guy with the 2 legs, so he can be a really good player for us." And we're talking about the position, and we see very clearly that maybe not as a winger in the top level, but as a fullback. And it's what is happening. He is now providing a lot to Bengaluru and to the national team as a fullback. So I think that he's that kind of talent that step by step, he has been consolidating, and now he's in the right moment to perform.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on this. I think we only have like 5 minutes left. So Ashik, there's a lot of talk about him because he's gone back to playing up front and he's doing a really good job. At that time, when you had Miku, Sunil, and Udanta also probably not at the best of his performance, but still a big player at the time in terms of what he has achieved. What was the decision to make him as a left back? Because you've spoken a little bit about it, as a second line of attack of sorts. But do you think there was something that was missed?
No, you as a coach, you have to do the best for the team. You have to make a plan. And unfortunately, sometimes it's the good thing for the team is not the best thing for the player. I fully understand Ashik that he has the skills to be winger, but at that moment of the period in Bengaluru, we have very clear that we have one wing with Udanta, one wing with Sunil, and we have a foreigner as number 9. So it means that the only position for him, and because of his physicality, is to be as a left back. And if you see the second season, that it was the 6th edition of Indian Super League, he was the best left back with a big difference until he get injured against Odisha. Until that game, I think it was game number 7, he was really the best fullback with a lot of difference. Now, because things are changing in Bengaluru and also in Indian national team, because you got Akash and you got Roshan, so you can do different tactical approach. But you can see that Ashik still is not providing enough assists and enough goals as a winger. Definitely he has to improve in that, because otherwise you are going to have a problem. If you see the last games with the national team, he has been working hard, he has been creating things, but at the end, I think that only 2 assists and no goal. And as a forward, you always have to deliver. If you don't deliver numbers, then the team is going to find another solutions. And it was what was happening with Ashik at that moment. We have with Sunil, with foreigner number 9, and with Udanta, we have more numbers, we have more things happening in attack. So we decided to give him the opportunity to play in another position.
What do you think of Udanta? Again, just under over 3 minutes we have. So Udanta, his performance, you called him out, you wanted more from him by the end, towards the end of your time. What do you think happened there?
Yeah, Udanta was reaching the most number of goals and assists with me in season 5.
I remember when I interviewed you, you said he's the player with the most ability to improve at that time.
Yeah. So it looks like he was, going up, but suddenly I think that there was something in his confidence that don't allow him to keep with that kind of numbers. And if you see last season, I think that he scored 2 goals with Bengaluru in Indian Super League, and I think that he provided also 1 or 2 assists. So. Okay, we all know the talent of Udanta. We all know how fast he is, his skills, but I still think that he has to deliver more numbers to the team and to the national team. And I think that's the reason because he's not playing in the first 11 in the national team, because we need more from that kind of player. I think that he is getting mature, and maybe in the next years we can see that from him.
So as we end this, I just wanted to ask you. Sunil told me one story. I want to know if this happened. It's about Opsit against Kerala Blasters. He was supposed to. Everyone was supposed to run in from a corner. He was supposed to come out and shoot. And by mistake, he also ran in, and he lost the ball. And Rahul KP went to the other side and scored. Was that? Do you remember that? Was that during your time there?
Yeah, of course I remember. Yeah.
So you absolutely got mad.
It was goal, yeah. It was very choke. Normally a number 9, it's crazy to score. It's crazy to try. It's crazy to shoot. So when we arrived to the locker room and he said me, it's my fault. I didn't do the running to shoot. I was getting crazy. I think that I substituted him, something like this. Yeah, it was not a good transfer for Bengaluru, that player. It was not working well for the club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the numbers show that. So as we end this, Carles, so thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you back in the country soon, if everything works out for you as well. And we look forward to that.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.